So as I do this video right now, yes, you see the Tampa Bay shirt. This is an old Buccaneers shirt. So for those of you that think I was a bandwagon or something like that because Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski joined up, no, it's because I had this. This is an old shirt, right? Okay, and I've followed the team since Warren Sapp and who was it, Derek Brooks joined the team in 1995 in the draft. So I go back that far. Anyway, to the movies, and I can't wait for the movies to come back personally. So July 12th is the first movie that actually come back. I forget who it was that's going to actually be coming back, but Tenet will be coming out in late July. A bunch of other movies will be slated for late July. That's when the movies will start coming back. But one particular studio has dropped a gauntlet on the movie industry because they decided to put out a movie, and the CEO of the company that owns Universal Studios said that maybe we're going to just go ahead and do a parallel release of our movies to the theaters and to video on demand. So if you get Redbox, or if you want to watch a movie and rent it online digitally through YouTube or Amazon Video or whatever, you can do that now. That's the whole idea. But the movie theaters think that sucks and they're pissed. So here's what we're talking about. Universal just told the world that the theaters are no longer the priority. So the movie we're talking about, Trolls World Tour. Now the difference is this: back on March 12th, when was the last week that actually we had movies to watch of new releases. What happened was, movies like Bloodshot, The Hunt, Sonic the Hedgehog, those are the movies that were out at that point. Invisible Man. How long has it all been since they have any good movies, right? And to think of which ones we could have had by now. Well, think about it like this. These movies, they went to on demand shortly after, like about the week after that. Movies like The Invisible Man, Bloodshot, and The Hunt went to direct-to-video, video on demand, and they charged $19.99 for a 48-hour rental, which I think is expensive. It's not the same because you're not getting the same experience of getting the nice sound and the audio and all this stuff, and that's what happens. By the way, if you ever see my eyes kind of blinking around, I'm just kidding. It's because that light I'm using for this right here is bright as hell, just to give you the heads up. So if you see my eyes going in weird directions, I know you might screenshot it. I'm just telling you that light is bright as hell to make sure it looks right on me. And so I can also make sure this virtual background gets hit. Back to my story. So Universal said this. They decided to put out Trolls World Tour, which so far has generated $100 million in revenue in 3 weeks, doing it only digital. And the deal is this. The movie never went out to theaters first. This is one of the first movies that decided of a big screen movie that made $300 million in the original movie that they did. They said, you know what? We're going to put this out and we're going to go and put it out without the theaters. We're not going to wait for the theaters to come back. We're going to put it out now. And then the CEO of Comcast Universal said that they were going to do whatever it takes to move forward as a business, virus, as a theatrical, with nose be damned. So that's what they did. So here's why they did it. Let's go and take about both sides of what the cinemas are saying and what Universal Studios is saying. So the numbers are this. Trolls grossed $153 million in North America, $346 million worldwide in 2016, the original movie, right? With the theaters get a 55% split. So the theaters get a little more than the majority for exhibition, they call it. Now, that means 55%, the theaters would get $84 million of that take for $173 million worldwide. It was 153 million domestic in North America, and 55% would be 84 million to the theaters. Now the split for video on demand is higher, according to Wall Street Journal, 80% as opposed to 55. So yeah, if you're saying, all right, so the digital streamers, they're only going to ask for 20% cut to put it out there, as opposed to getting more than half your money given up to the theaters, then that's why they were going to do that. Well, that's a difference. But, if you're taking a short run on the theater run on the cinematic release, right, the exhibition, and you can't put it out there because there's no place to put it, then there's no, you kind of excuse yourself by putting it out on digital streaming, which is fine. But that's what they did here. And that's what happened here. So they got $100 million in revenue right now on this movie. And the split they're going to take in $77 million out of that 100 million, if you're kind of changing it out. And they're saying right now they've had 5 million transactions for that movie. And that's just a couple days ago. We don't even know what happened this weekend. So this is an extraordinary successful experiment. That was the whole idea, which if you let this as a one-off, that's one thing. But then what happened was Universal, this is what they did. That John Fithian, you might have opened up a Pandora's box, because this is what really got people pissed off. So John Fithian says that a limited number of exceptions doesn't really make a change business model. But the idea is that now they would consider doing it both ways. Here's what's going on. If he means that VOD will not execute a wholesale takeover of theatrical, true enough. But why would any studio do that? Certainly theaters are the ideal setting for many films, particularly prestige and tentpole films. So like you're talking about like the Oscar-nominated films. You're talking about the Marvel movies, the DC movies, right? The Fast and Furious movies, all those. That's what they mean by tentpole. Or, the ones that are always putting out movies under a universe or whatever it is, right? That's the kind of idea. So no film will give theaters what was originally the 90-day window. And when you're going to see a movie at the theater new, it will be about 90 days from the day it debuts to the point where it will go out to, the video on demand. And then after that point, video on demand gets their time with it to put it out on a rental through digital streaming, or video on demand, they call it, or digital download. And then after that, it goes to the red boxes, the Netflix, the Hulus, the Amazons, wherever they're going to go. That's the idea. So then a story comes up here from Motley Fool that talks about this, and they say that the movie theaters need a film studio more than the studios need theaters. So the argument now, we already know why the movie theaters want to do this, but here's what's more of the argument. So at the moment, they're already saying the Trolls World Tour is a bigger hit in the U.S. than the original 2016 film, making more money than the sequel. Uh-oh, that's good for them. So now it's not a surprise for a sequel to outperform the original. But what makes it surprising is Trolls World Tour never saw the big screen of a movie theater. So again, they put out, like they did, the success, and this is where actually Jeff Shell said this. I forgot. It was not John Fithian, Jeff Shell. He said, the results for Trolls World Tour have exceeded our expectations. And they have exceeded our expectations and demonstrated the viability of video on demand. As soon as theaters reopen, we expect to release movies on both formats. No, don't do that. And that's what's going on. So the CEO of AMC Entertainment shot back. He says, you know what? In an open letter, he says that AMC Theaters will no longer play Universal films, and Regal Cinemas also followed suit. They will not offer exclusive windows if you're going to put it out on digital video on demand. And that's a bigger problem. Now, what you're going to get here, that's going to be the problem, is some of the movies you might not get will go straight to digital and not go out in the theaters. You know what movies you're not going to have in the theaters if this threat goes through? Fast and Furious F9 will not get to be seen in theaters. Jurassic World Domination, whatever it is, the newest one that they have, Jurassic Park, that one will also get only video on demand. You will not see it in theaters. You're telling me you don't want to see the dinosaurs? You don't want to see the high action car chases and shit? You don't want to watch that in a theater with the crowd and the usual Fast Five universe or the Fast and Furious universe watching together, and the Jurassic Park, same thing, watching it on 3D? You don't want to see that? Uh-oh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So Universal postponed some films they expected to see big ticket sales, and they've already been pushed out till next year. So we're not going to worry about that right now. But again, this is a problem that might come up with. Now, in this, box office sales may be closer to zero if none of the major theater chains are willing to show Universal pictures. Would be a loss for Universal, but perhaps not as big a deal as it looks at face value. It would mitigate that impact with video on demand. It would honestly, the cost that would be to go and distribute the movie out to theaters would be changed as it's doing it digitally. All right. So competition would likely pounce on the opportunity to offer in-demand films that AMC isn't. So what could happen is the studios could just say, you know what? Screw it. We'll do the same thing. They might just latch onto it. But then what happens in the movie theaters? I mean, I think the movie theaters still need, even when we have a digital disruption, I still think the movie theaters need the movies. The content's got to go out to people that can watch it at a big movie house. I still think people want to do that, and there's already been studies out there that say that people are going to go back as soon as it reopens. And it might take a little while for people to come back after a couple of months when they open up, but eventually everybody's going to come back to the theater. They already said that's going to be a commonplace. Now, would AMC do the same thing if this happened to all the movies? Well, here's what we got. Disney is taking a movie called Artemis Fowl. It's going to make it a Disney Plus exclusive. Well, that's a different story. It's not video on demand. It's just saying, okay, it's like Netflix. It's the same kind of thing. So where I have precedent. So for Disney to take a movie and put it on Disney Plus, that's not a big loss. Warner Media was going to put out a movie for Scooby-Doo. They're going to put it out on HBO Max, of which Warner Media owns. So again, they're not pushing out to rent it out. They're just going to make it available to the streaming services that they own. So I can't knock them for that. If they're going to decide to do that, that's a different story. But to monetize it when they could use the theaters, I mean, maybe the Scooby-Doo movie won't do as good. Scoob, right? Or the Disney movie Artemis Fowl might not do as good in the theaters either, because they got a whole lot of other movies they're working on. So you never know. You got Mulan coming out. You got Jungle Cruise. You got other things you got for Disney out there. So they might just have a whole lot of movies that they don't want to go ahead and have this movie get burdened, because I don't know what Artemis Fowl is. It's not some major project from anything else. So, Mulan going live action, that should be a big movie. Jungle Cruise being a live action movie, as it being a part of being a ride, that might be a big movie. So that's why they're doing that. That makes sense. So AMC can't afford to put a blanket ban on studio films, because Disney, Universal, Warner Brothers generated 2/3 of the box office take for them in 2019. But again, AMC Theaters, which is the biggest theater out there, they are considering bankruptcy. They're in a tough spot. But the thing is, this is really important to see. And I'll tell you, question has to be, do you want to go back to the movie house and see certain movies? Shouldn't there be certain movies that should be seen in the theaters as opposed to watching it at home? Like, since you've been here in quarantine watching this as you're watching now, do you prefer to watch your movies at home, or would you prefer to go and still be able to see things as you do in the theaters and going out to a big screen, getting the 3D glasses, which are, of course, they're going to have to find another way to do it, but being able to watch movies in the theater like you normally do? Wouldn't you want to do it that way? Wouldn't you still want it to be like that? I think I would. I'm just saying. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you prefer to see more of your movies in the theater? Would you prefer to not go to the movie theater and watch it from home? And would you pay $20 for a 48-hour rental of whatever movie comes out? Would that make you buy more movies? Do you like the idea of the subscription plans for movie theaters? I have one for Regal, and I'm getting that when I come back. So tell me what you think. Please leave the comments, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell for any videos that I got putting out. I'm trying to put out as many as I can while I got the time, and I hope you enjoy. In the meantime, also, quick reminder, help out this channel. Help me support this channel so I can keep putting out content for you, because I can always use more help. Please go ahead and go through my Amazon link and buy stuff on Amazon, as you always do. I just bought a new weight scale, and I already found out quarantine gave me a couple extra pounds, so I got to fix that, right? But in the meantime, please go to my Amazon link, kingofamazon.com. That's kingofamazon.com. And please do me the favor and go over to my Cash App if you like to, at King of All Podcasts, and drop a donation there. It can be 50 cents, $1, whatever you want. Or go to my PayPal, paypal.me/King of Podcasts.